All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
Oh, we're here, all right.
Yeah, episode 250, Peter. 250.
Okay, all right. What's the party? Come on, it's got to be
I thought you were taking me out for lunch for dragging you along this far.
lunch. I need something better than lunch.
Well, we can have cocktails at lunch and cigars.
We'll talk.
Hey, if we go to the cigar shop and have lunch, we can have our own little private party.
Jeez, Bill, it sounds really good.
Yeah, that didn't sound good, did it? Our own private party. No.
Cigars with you. Okay. All right, folks, we'll straighten this out.
All right, let's move on. Today's podcast name is Why and How Being a Reluctant Creative Real Estate Buyer Excels a Rookie's Education Immensely.
Amen.
Any rookie looking for quick, creative real estate muscle to shorten up their runway of education so they can get quicker results should listen to this very rare and unorthodox, Peter, podcast to stack the deck in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
This unusual strategy is like flipping the game board and scattering the pieces all over the place. Then, while picking up the pieces, you have an oracle moment where the ray of light shines down upon you with extreme clarity. So from that point forward, you never stumble or struggle with playing the game ever again.
I'm sorry. The content is great. When you wrote that, because I know you don't have writers, that was some really good writing there. The oracle. Does everybody know what an oracle is?
Go ahead.
Well, you're in Greece. It's 3,000 years ago. You want to find out the truth of the universe. You need to ask the gods a question, but you don't have their phone number. So you go to the temple, and there's this lady who speaks to God for you, the gods. You can ask her a question, and she tells you the truth of the universe, and that's your oracle. That's your oracle moment. Okay?
All right.
God.
Nice job, Peter. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Boom.
Let me catch up where I am here. So the ray of light shines down upon you with extreme clarity so that point forward, you never stumble or struggle with playing the game ever again. I'm talking, Peter, completely off the charts different. Mostly by shearly discovering some of the most basic and innocent seller rules that when applied is like holding up a treat for an untrained dog and saying, "Come here, Fido." And he comes a-running. And today we're going to give you these skills so you can do it tomorrow with ease. So strap your seatbelt on and let's take the ride together so you too can start making deals this way like the pros do, only in the micro time it takes most of them to learn it.
Mighty powerful words there, Mr. Hawthorne.
Yeah. All right, so let's do our housekeeping first. So we record this podcast every single Thursday morning, thereabouts of 9:30 a.m. Between 9:15 and 9:30 a.m. is when we start Eastern Standard Time. We record it live. We live stream it to Facebook. And if you're one of my email followers, I call it Flakebook because I think they're flaky as hell. And we record it live on YouTube, also known on Bill's Planet as ZooTube, because if you go on YouTube, it's a zoo. There's everything there, right?
And we love the zoo.
All kinds of creatures there.
And we love the zoo.
So you could go there on 9:30 or so Eastern time on a Thursday morning to either Facebook or YouTube, and you can watch us there and type in comments. And there's a big screen in front of me, and I can see your comments. Matter of fact, Rick has said, "Hey, Bill." I'm going to say, "Good morning, Rick." So people talk to me. So when you're listening to the podcast and you're wanting to know why we're answering questions, it's because people are watching the live stream on YouTube or on Facebook, and they're responding, and we're responding back to them. The other thing is, in the description, there's of this podcast, there's a link. So here I'm going to tell you, it is episode number 250. This is the last show that I will be announcing that link for the free stuff page is there. Starting next episode, we're going to have a different link doing something else. So if you are listening to this episode while we're live, you have an opportunity to go get your free stuff with that link. If not, next time you listen, next episode, it's going to be a different link, and that stuff won't be there. Okay. Lastly, make sure you check us out at flippinghousesforrookies.com. That's our website. If you go to the top right-hand side of that website, there's a support button there. Make sure you go there if you have any questions. I personally check those support tickets multiple times a day. I answer all of them. It's not a virtual assistant. I've had some people leave some nasty messages thinking it's a virtual assistant. It's not a virtual assistant. You're speaking to me, and if you write some nasty shit to me, I use the D word, Bieber. D word.
No.
Delete. You talk shit to me, you're out. This is my planet, not yours. Okay,
yeah.
So I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. If you want to be mean to me, see ya. You'll be outside looking in, and you'll be banned from the group. So I actually had to do that last week in the WhatsApp group. There was a couple guys in there doing some crazy crap because we have a WhatsApp group. Let's talk real estate. Yeah. And they were talking crap in there, and out, see ya. Which all that's going to change too, Peter. I'm going to announce that now. I wasn't planning on doing that, but here in the next few weeks, we actually have new software that works similar to Facebook. It looks like Facebook. And I'm going to take all of my private groups and all of my public groups, and I'm going to put it on my own platform. And it's going to be a place for everybody to go and communicate. So it's going to attach to all of our courses. So if you have one of our courses and you have questions, you're going to be able to go into the community. It's not going to be a Facebook group. And there you go. So that's how it's going to work. So
that sounds cool. That's, in the music world, that's having your own publishing. You just make your own music and publish your own. Yeah. So it's like you have your own thing nowadays, your own Facebook, your own platform. That's awesome.
Right. So anyways, sorry, I got distracted. So all that is coming. I really want to make it so that this is not a one-way communication where I'm just speaking to people. I want people to give us feedback, tell us what they're going through, and we really want to help them. So this community, it's going to be a private community. It's not. There are going to be some paid, the paid versions of my courses and stuff. You won't be able to enter them unless you pay, but there's going to be a lot. We're doing WhatsApp now, and I'm not happy with it. So I want to be able to have videos and all kinds of stuff in there. So it's almost built. So we're going to have that pretty soon. Anyways, back to today's show, episode 250. As I told you, the episode name is Why and How Being a Reluctant Creative Real Estate Buyer Excels a Rookie's Education Immensely. So the first thing I want to cover, Peter, is reluctant buyer. Mm-hmm. What exactly is that?
Exactly. That sounds weird. It's not a common term, so please explain to us.
Right. So basically it means the seller is trying to convince you to buy the house. It's not the other way around. So many real estate newbies are begging, without even knowing they're begging, the seller to give them terms or give them their price. Mm-hmm. And that's backwards, right? Most investors think that way, mm-hmm. right? So I was on and I learned this some time ago because I had a coaching client that actually said to me on a call, well, I don't understand, because even if we're giving them $300,000 and we're giving them monthly payments, we're still paying them $300,000. So they have to convince us to give them the $300,000, don't they? It's like, we're giving them the 300, whether we do it in payments or whether we do it in one lump sum, we're still paying them 300,000. So they have to convince us that it's a nice bathroom and it's nice this, it's nice that. They got to convince us, right? There's got to be a reason, right? All right. So this is backwards. So I want to give you an analogy that has nothing to do with real estate, so it makes sense to you. So it's completely clear what a reluctant buyer is before we move on. Okay.
Right, because I want to know like what our attitude should be and our point of view, like how we're looking at it when we walk in the door. What's our attitude? So explain. Yeah, explain.
So if you're an employer or you're the boss, okay, and you're trying to hire a new person to work for you, right? It's common that the interview, right?
Yeah.
From the employer to the prospective employee is all about what the employer wants. Like, this is what I want you to do. This is what I need you to do. This is all that, right?
Yeah, and you're lucky if you get the job. You're begging.
Right.
Hope I get the job.
What I always did, which is backwards, instead of trying to find and hire an employee based on what I need, what I did is I found out what the employee needed. Like, what do they want? What are their goals? What would bring them to the negotiating table every morning, aka punching at 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Why are they there? What do they need from this? And obviously, right, you would think it's money. But once I found out what they needed and what their motivation was, I would then align it to what I needed. And if they matched, they were a good employee. So let me explain. You would think that money is what's most important for employees, right? First.
Well, it's one of them.
Right. But it's not true, because money is not always the reason, right? I mean, in the very beginning, we used to call them, these people 90-day wonders, because in 90 days we'd wonder why the hell we hired them, because they weren't the same person we hired 90 days before, because people obviously pretend to get the job, because in the beginning they're like, I need to get my paycheck by Friday. I got to pay my rent.
Yeah.
But once they get into the job and they feel a little bit secure and they get a few paychecks, then all of a sudden the true colors show up, right?
Sure.
So money's not always the first thing, right? What if you had a mom who was like an extraordinary bookkeeper? I've had this.
Yeah.
And had to put her kids on the school bus each morning and couldn't get to work until like 10 or 10:30 a.m. And then had to leave by 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Right.
That's what she's looking for. If the money was good, but if she doesn't get that, she can't function.
Right.
Got kids,
So the point is by letting me letting her do that and aligning with her needs, she's going to feel like she's got a job that she normally couldn't get, right? Because I'm lenient with it. And if the kids are out sick from school, I'm like, just work from home. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now what happens is she becomes dedicated and loyal and manages to somehow always get her work done. Maybe it's after the kids go to bed at night, she'll work from home. But she knows what my deadlines are. She knows what she needs to do. She knows what she's got trigger points or things that she goals that she has to hit, right?
Right.
So she fits it into her life because she's motivated. You see how this is?
Sure.
So this is just like you and the sellers. See, most employers will hire somebody for what they need.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to figure out what the employee needs and then plugging it into their system. I just explained a real estate transaction, by the way. Most investors talk to sellers about what they need instead of what does the seller need and then trying to plug it in to their system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So the first point today that I want to make is knowing what the seller considers to be valuable and will keep driving them back to you. See, the employee feels like what's valuable for her being there, her point of being, her idea of value is I let her have flex hours so she could take care of her kids.
Yep.
And that's worth more than the money.
Mm.
So when I hired her, I recognized that's the value that I have to give to get a really good employee.
Yep.
Right? So when you're being a reluctant buyer, you're doing this first. You're not trying to buy the house. You're trying to figure out what is the value that the seller really sees in you.
You know what I'm thinking from what you're saying? You're never buying the house.
Exactly.
You're never buying the house.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying his problem.
You're taking over his problem for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what you're doing is solving his problem, and he's giving you either equity or cash flow. So how much equity or cash flow is he going to give you is what he considers the value of you solving it for him.
Right.
Okay. So hear me loud and clear right now. Really loud and clear. Please, please listen. You ready? This is a write down thing, not for you, but for our listeners, because you've heard me say this before.
Mm-hmm.
The highest paid skill and most important skill any real estate entrepreneur can have is understanding his seller or her seller.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand the psychology of the seller, I was on a coaching call the other day, and one of my students from Israel, in fact, I wrote an email about this, told me that it's emotional intelligence.
I saw that one.
It's a good word, right?
Emotional, yeah.
Emotional intelligence. It's knowing what the seller considers valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I strongly suggest any rookie go on the Flakebook Marketplace, look for people renting houses, send them a message, and ask them, would you be willing to rent for a year or two and then sell it to me? Once you get a favorable response, get a name and a phone number, because Facebook doesn't do that. Then get on the phone with them and make an appointment to go look at the property. Don't even try to pre-qualify them. Don't do anything. Just go out there because here's the purpose of you doing this, is to study your seller, not buy a house. And if you do this 3 or 5 times in a course of 30 days, that's all you need to do. You have it for the rest of your life now.
So we usually do some of that on the phone. You're saying don't do any on the phone?
Nope.
Wow, that's different. Well, especially in the beginning, you just want people to just practice.
So then once you start understanding the seller, you see one. It's kind of like this, Peter. I want to study tractors, farm tractors.
Right.
But I never saw a farm tractor.
Mm-hmm.
So how am I going to study it? I don't know what it looks like. So I'm describing in my materials about the wheel or the steering wheel or the engine. I've never seen one. I have no idea what they look like.
Right.
So how am I going to understand the study materials if I've never seen one?
Yeah, it's not very realistic, is it?
So if you have never seen a seller or experienced a seller, how are you going to study the materials if you've never seen one?
Right. Yeah.
So
it's going to be easier live than on the phone.
Yeah.
Then sometimes you have to delve into something kind of deep so that you can do it easier without being deep. Like being in the person's house is kind of deep. You're standing in front of them. You can see them. You can see their facial reactions. He's not going to he can't hang up the phone because you're standing there. So he'll talk to you more. But if you get good at that with a few visits, then it can be easier on the phone, won't it?
Yes.
And I think that's your point, because we're supposed to be able to do it on the phone, but geez, we don't know how to do anything in the beginning. So live would be much stronger.
Well, you're gonna actually you're going to actually know what you're dealing with. It's like there in the physical universe and you can see it.
Right. Then you can imagine it better on the phone. You can visualize it then.
Here's another example.
Okay.
Did your grandmother have a cookbook?
As a matter of fact, we just cleared my mother's house out, and the boys, we tore through every cookbook looking for her recipes, every piece of paper. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Was it easier to follow the recipe if you had a picture of the finished product as opposed to not? So if you have a cake, you're flipping through a cookbook and you see a picture of a cake, you now have the ideal scene of what that recipe is all about.
Sure, it's better than just words on a page.
Right.
Sure.
Right. So that's important. So Rick, who's from Australia, is asking, what about virtually? So I don't understand the question.
Is he talking about like going online and seeing them like on the computer screen?
So I'm being a jerk right now because I know exactly what he's saying, and you just answered the question. So Rick, get on Zoom calls and talk to these people on Zoom, or FaceTime and have them walk around the house and show you the house on FaceTime. Right? By the way, good morning, Jamie. God bless you as well. So now Alicia is asking the same question. But how about far away? How are we going to do the best way? I just said you're going to do a Zoom call, or if you could do FaceTime, you can do FaceTime. I don't know if you can do that, but minimally you can do a Zoom call. So you're looking at the person, you're seeing the person.
Yeah.
The object of this is to observe your seller, to see what they look like, to watch how they react. So when you say to them, will you take, and you're not going to do, let's just keep going because I don't want to divert, right?
Yeah.
So once you get a favorable response, get a name and a phone number, call them and make an appointment to see the house or to speak to them, right? Now here's the magic, Peter. Here's the magic.
Yes.
Do not. You
mean don't?
Yes.
Do not, don't?
Don't do this.
Don't
try to buy the house.
Don't try to buy the house.
Here's what you'll be doing once you are together. Now, if you're virtual, you're going to have them have you walk around the house virtually, which you can do. Okay. Most people will do this in their backyard, so they'll go visit a house. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. If you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com /free stuff, flippinghousesforrookies.com /free stuff. On there, you're going to be able to download my inspection report. Okay? Print it out and bring it with you or have it with you when you're looking at it. Now, here's the point for all of you geeks, okay, that are trying, all you fear mongers that are worried about.
Thinker brains.
Yeah,
Thinker brains. Remember Thinker brains?
Yeah, Thinker brains. That you feel like you got to have all this material before you make an offer because God forbid you made a little tweeny little mistake. You're not going to die, I promise. This document that I'm talking about, you should, if you're in the house, attach it to a clipboard and bring it with you. And it's not to figure out the cost of the repairs because I don't care about that. We do that by square footage. Like $10 a square foot, $15 a square foot, 20, 25. And the most common number you should use is $25 per square foot. Okay. And you can adjust it, $15, $30, whatever you want, $20, whatever. But just pick a number. $25 per square foot is the number I use the most. And if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com and you go right on where the pretty girl is on the screen and it says creative real estate deal making 101 and go into the rehab retail course, I'll show you the breakdown of all the different square footages and what they cover for that price. Okay. So you're going to what you're going to use this document for instead is a checklist to make sure you don't forget to look at something.
Mm.
Because you won't know what you won't know. If something's missing, you won't notice it because it's missing.
Bill,
Right?
Bill, I swear to God, give me a 30-second spot here. I'm selling my family home. I'm waiting for the loan commitment for the bank, and it's taking a few days longer than it should because everything's rolling along. I call the broker. She calls the other broker, and she said, Pete, they're waiting on one thing. I said, what? They want you to remove the gas stove from the basement. Well, how come nobody said that to anybody? Like, I don't know. Nobody told anybody. So luckily I had the movers coming in an hour. They pulled it out. Would you believe the next day the appraiser from the bank had to come back and take a picture of what's not there?
Yeah.
I took the picture, sent it myself, but that wasn't good enough. I think she wanted an extra paycheck that week.
Yep.
But they had to take a picture of what was not there. But they knew it was there to look that it wasn't there. But we've been in homes like, wait, something's wrong about this? And like, oh, look, no baseboards.
Yeah. Exactly. Or
Right?
no furnace.
Yeah. Where's the heat?
That's a good point. That's a good point. You go upstairs in a cape house sometimes, and there's no heat up there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they put a dorm on and they didn't put heat up there, and the heat rises from the first floor up, and that's why it's warm up there. And they were using electric heaters, right? All right. Yeah. So not only will it help you see things you might miss, this document, but it also make you look like you're confident to your seller because you're asking, where's this and where's that and where's this?
Yeah, you're paying attention. He's thinking you're not a pushover, like, you know what you're doing.
Okay, so once you do that, now you're in the house with this inspection form and your clipboard, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're doing it virtually, then have them show you virtually. I mean, get some sort of a camera or whatever. The electronic world can get you to do this. Have them show you around the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, once the inspection is over, you tell them you're interested. Or you're not interested. Maybe you aren't. Okay. If you are interested, all you need to do is ask them, what would have to happen for me to buy your house today?
Mm-hmm.
Then the most important part is write down verbatim, which means exactly each word that comes out of their mouth. Write it down on your clipboard. Then, once it's written down, repeat it back to them by starting off the clarification by saying, so I can buy your house if, and you repeat what they say.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy your house if I give you $190,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you ask them to make sure, A, you wrote it down right, B, you understood it, because sometimes they'll be like, well, no, not really. I mean, I really want 200. Or, I can buy your house if I close by Thursday. Well, no, it doesn't have to be Thursday. It could be Tuesday of next week.
Right. It's not always money, though. That's why I'm sure people say, oh, give you my full asking price. Sure. But we're looking for, beside that, isn't it helpful when they say things like, I need it because, I'm in a hurry, or those type of things, so we get some idea of a difficulty that we might be able to, work it out to make that go away.
Right. So now they're telling you what's needed and wanted, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. They're telling you what's needed and wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, number 3, now that you know what they need and want, try to figure out why they need and want that.
Mm.
For instance, if they want a big down payment, right, or their profit right now, ask why. Here, you'll now know the motivation behind the need and the wants, right? So.
Sure.
So I did this on the meetup last night, right? Now, this is not exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm going to give you an example of this, right?
Yeah.
So, Peter, let's do a role play. So, Peter, a lot of times we do something with the financing. You have a mortgage on the house, right?
Yeah.
Good. How much is that?
It's 95,000 left.
Good. Would you be willing to sell the house for what you owe on it?
Oh no, the house is worth a lot more than just that. No,
Okay.
I've been paying that down. No.
So how much were you expecting to walk away with?
Oh, like when it's all over, how much do I get?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I think I should pull about 30,000 in the equity.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And what were you going to do with that 30 grand?
I want to buy another property, but I want to get like a condo, and there'll be a big chunk of the down payment, a little bit extra for fix up, you know.
So what's the purpose of getting a condo? What made you do this all of a sudden?
I want to move to another area, warmer, and I don't need a whole house with lawn and all that. Just something easier, nice.
Okay, so that's it. So, Peter, am I wrong by saying that the conversations 95% of the time go that way?
Yeah.
Are there going to be some dicks in there that say you don't need to know how much I owe? By the way, we call them suspects, right?
Yeah.
So here's my point is I found out what was needed and wanted and what motivated you in a 2.5 minute or 3 minute conversation. It's not difficult. No.
Yeah, but folks, you got to write down what Bill just said. He didn't make that stuff up. That's stock off the shelf stuff.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the money? It's not like I need $30,000. You didn't go, why?
Yeah.
That's stupid. You say, well, oh, that's great. What are you going to do with the money?
Yeah.
But that tells you why. But you don't say, why?
Now, I don't expect you to do this as a brand new person and you're in a house and you're being a reluctant buyer. Although if you feel that way, you can. By the way, the rule is if what they owe and what the house is worth is more than $35,000, then you don't ask, would you sell the house for what you owe on it? I do it every time because I love subject to deals, and that's how you find subject to deals. It's because that's a subject to deal. And if you don't know what a subject to deal is, go to flippinghouses4rookies.com. Right on the front page next to the pretty girl, there's a thing there that says Creative Real Estate Deal Making 101. Go in there and watch the subject to videos. It's for free. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So number 4, you're in a great spot now. You know what's needed and wanted, and you know the motivation. Right? Now, here's what you do. Use absolute, positively authentic. What does authentic mean, Peter?
Well, that's for real.
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 Right? So use absolute, authentic, and real human kindness. No pretending. Be honest. If you truly don't want to try to help the person in front of you because you just don't feel like you click, then tell them the house is not for you and leave. Your study's over. You learn something by studying them, which, by the way, I'm going to talk about this at the end of the podcast, which we're almost at, right?
Yep.
So most people think when they hear the word study, Peter, that means they have to open a book and they have to read.
No, we're talking definition 3A here.
Peter's
not 1, not 2, 3A.
3A. So study, the most common study that most human beings do is observation.
Yeah.
You observe something and you study it. You watch it and see how it works in the physical universe. Now, here's what happens. Think about this. What happens is people study things and they have experiences and they write them down and put them in what you call books. So now, if you think about this, if you had to go around and observe everything yourself, it would take you a lifetime to learn something.
Yes.
But if you read books, you can shorten that down to a few months because you could read all of their studies, all of other people's observations and experiences with the physical universe on a particular subject.
Yeah, synthesize, summarize, hand it to you like one of those shortcut readers, for tests.
Maybe it's photography, maybe it's about driving a car, maybe it's about flipping a house, right? So you're reading to get, so the study is observing through somebody else, right? That's how you're learning, is the observation through somebody else. But right now, what we're talking about is your own absolute observation. So if you don't like the person and you leave, you won anyways because you observed what a seller looks like, right? This is like you're going to study tractors, and you went to the farm and you went out in the middle of the field and you sat on the tractor and you touched it and you saw the big wheels in the back and the little wheels in the front, and you started it up and you heard the engine run. You don't know anything about it, but you saw one. Now you can go back and study that tractor. Like, why does it have big wheels in the back and little wheels in the front? Why does it have a big steering wheel? Why is the seat made out of metal instead of something else?
Yeah.
Right? And you can now study it because you've seen one.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you like the person, right, you're going to sincerely help the seller get what they want. Whether you make money or not, that's the trick. You got to not be worried about you. Remember, we're doing this drill so you can learn what the seller says, what they care about, how they react to your questions, what they want, what they need, how they're motivated, right?
Yep.
By the way, all this is for free. No expensive training package from a guru. And this education will far exceed paying somebody $50,000 and talking to a coach every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You do this for a month, you do 3 or 5 visits for a month, within a 30-day period. You can do it in a couple of weeks. You can do it in a week. You do this and you will excel. You will be like a rocket on a launching pad, because now when you go study your materials, like all of our materials at Flipping Houses for Rookies, it makes sense. Right? There's Desiree.
Absolutely.
There's Desiree. She
You
has
say,
arrived.
Good morning, Desiree.
I don't know what that means, but zigzag says you can have everything in your life you want if you just help other people get what they want. So I think she's talking about Zig Ziglar. Right?
Oh, okay.
That's true. I learned that from Kiyosaki.
Mm-hmm. Well, every book that I read, they're always talking about being a decent person, not some kind of jerk of a business person, seeing what they can get out of the world. They always talk the right way. Right. In spite of what they might teach at business college, I've been there too. Don't listen to them.
Right.
Don't listen to them.
So all you're doing at this point is finding out what's needed and wanted and what motivates them, and then turn on your customer relationship or your customer service hat and say, Pete, I'm not 100% sure how, but I want to help you get that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're sincere, what are they going to say to that? How many people are at the front door ringing the doorbell saying, hey, Pete, I want to come here and help you sell your house?
Well, gee, Bill, I got nobody else come in here to help me with anything lately. Yeah. Nothing. That's right.
Step number 5. Okay, once you do that, this step is a myth breaker. Now, the reason most spend so much time on training and wanting to know so much before talking to a seller is because they're trying to do the entire deal or convince the seller in one visit or one phone call, often which is 60 minutes or less, to sell them the house. But if you tell the seller that you're new and you're going to go find out the solution, right?
Yep.
And ways you can help them, they will respect you and actually help you help them.
Yeah.
Right? So I know Desiree did this. She's here with us right now.
Mm-hmm.
She went out and did a call, and she was like, Bill, it was exactly like what you said. I told them I was brand new. I never did this before, and I needed to go speak to my mentor to get the answer. And they were like, here she goes. Instant gratification will keep you broke, she said.
Where do you get these things? What are you reading?
She's reading Zig Ziglar.
She's reading
Okay. So anyways, the point is that when you tell them, hey, this is my first transaction and I'm not sure, but I really want to help you. So I'm going to go find an answer and I'm going to come back tomorrow at noon or Thursday at 5 and I'm going to have an answer for you. How many other people are doing that for your seller?
No.
Right? And if you get somebody that doesn't want you to do that, you get the wrong seller. But you observed it. So you see, here's the thing, Peter. What everybody on this podcast has to do, and every real estate investor has to do, this is a core basic. Mm-hmm. You have to observe a prospect.
Yeah.
And you have to observe a suspect. You have to observe a nice person, and you have to observe an asshole. You know, my father taught me at a very young age, you cannot appreciate the sunshine unless it rains.
Yeah.
So you have to have contrast for everything. So go out there and see what an asshole looks like. Go out there and see what a nice guy looks like. Go out there and see what a liar looks like because he's telling you, yeah, and then he bails out at the paperwork end. Mm-hmm. Just experience it.
Yeah.
Once you experience
that's important.
Once you experience it, then you will you'll see it coming a mile away later on.
Right. You want to know. I was thinking about saying this, but in the last few minutes, you want to know what you want to work on as a project, who you want to do business with, and who you do not want to do business with.
Right.
That's more important. Because you said, "Gee, Pete, I saw this house. It's okay. I would buy it, but geez, the guy is a jerk. I don't think I want to be married to him for 2 years on a lease option and have to deal with that asshole. I just don't want it. I don't need that crap in my life." So you need to know. It's like dating. Like, I like this girl. I don't like that one. You got to know what you don't want to do. I like this car. I don't want to buy that one. You got to know both ends. You do not lose on this by crossing off what you don't want to deal with. That's a huge lesson. You'll be sorry if you get the wrong guy. So do not take a loss on that. It's fishing. Don't let throw that one back, keep one. It's totally fine. You've got to learn that too. It's all positive, right direction. Every bit of it.
Good. So here's the end of the theory.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me and make sure you understand this clearly. I feel like I'm being very didactic right now. Listen to me. I got a gun to your head.
Listen to me. Do what Bill says.
This is experience of talking to thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of sellers. And I've dumbed it down to a simplicity that if you really get this, your life will be easier. They're unhappy about something with this house. That's why they're talking to you about selling it.
Yeah.
Find out what they're unhappy about. Why all of a sudden now? They've owned the house for 15 years. Why did they decide to sell it now? What happened?
Yeah.
What do they plan on doing with it?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, you've been saying find out what makes them happy. What would make them happy?
Yeah.
I pulled that on my wife yesterday. I asked her a question about, well, I got to do such and such. Okay, but why do you got to do that? Well, I need to be blah, blah, blah. She says, well, why? She says, because such and such. I said, oh, would that make you happy? He goes, yeah. Okay, good. Do that. It took 3 questions.
Right.
But Bill, I'm learning. This even works on wives.
I'll send you a bill in the mail, okay? Now you're not only buying lunch, but you're buying the cigars too.
Oh, God. All right, we'll take it off your bill.
There's not a line of people in the real estate industry asking to help these sellers, especially for free, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you help them and they help you. You help them by being honest, saying this is my first deal and I'm going to go get the answers because you can send a support ticket to me and I'll help you to some extent. I'm not going to coach you because it's not fair to my coaching clients. Mm-hmm. But I will help you. I'm not going to just leave you high and dry. I will help you to some degree so you can get going with the deal. In the meantime, like I said, you're getting your best study from pure observation of a potential deal and what motivates the seller and what doesn't motivate the seller. And you get to see both ends of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I end off, because I'm going to end off in a couple minutes here, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just want to talk about the most important element of this training. This self-induced, do-it-yourself training.
Mm-hmm.
Record yourself. Know this. The best coach in the world is you. The best coach in the world for you is you.
Mm-hmm.
You can instantly make decisions and change you. Once you see you. Recording yourself is like putting a third eye on yourself and seeing you in action.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Record yourself talking to your seller and then listen to it later. You'll hear plus points and you'll be able to work on your weak points. Now, when it's time for you to go get educated, you know where to go. It's very pinpointed, and the education is now real to you because you've observed the farm tractor and you understand why there's big wheels, but you don't understand why there's little wheels. So go research on why is there little wheels in the front of a farm tractor. Mm-hmm. And now when you educate yourself and you go look for why that answer to this question, it'll mean a whole lot more to you and you'll remember it. Now it has significance, it has importance, it resonates with you more. Mm-hmm. And your education will excel because of it. It's a glorious, amazing way to study.
Yeah.
Amen. Please go give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Please go to Flipping Houses for Rookies. Sign up for your free course. It's right on the front page. John Ramirez says, what are you guys using to record phone calls? I have an iPhone. There's an app on my iPhone. My coaching clients say that there's an app on Android. Here's the thing. A lot of people ask me, do you tell the person you're recording it? I don't, because I'm not selling the recording. It's just for private use. It doesn't go anywhere unless once in a while I'll share a call with my coaching clients, but I don't sell it. I mean, that's me. And that's when I do that, I tell people I'm doing that. But for the most part, I record them just to listen to myself. I listen to it when I'm leaving the house in the car. So like I said, I use a cell phone. I have an iPhone. It's right on. And if you have an Android or some other phone, then you can go there and check it. If not, John, you're in the Let's Talk Real Estate app. Go in there and just ask, or if you're in the Deal Hunting Monthly Mastery group, go in there and ask them on the WhatsApp group, and somebody will answer you if you have an Android. I don't have an Android, so I don't know. Okay? Good. So please go give us a review. If you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, there's a button on the top that says testimonials. Please go give us a testimonial. Make sure that you subscribe to us if you're listening to us on YouTube or Facebook so you know we're here. And I'm here to help. Peter's here to help. And I think after today, you understand what it's like to be a reluctant buyer. Thanks for being with us. Talk to you next week.